Hey folks, it's Marvin Cash, the host of The Articulate Fly, and we're here with the first episode of the Chocklett Factory with my friend Blane Chocklett. Blane, how you doing?
I'm great, man. How are you?
As always, I'm just trying to stay out of trouble, and you're a busy dude. You're getting ready to head south to do some tying demonstrations, and probably, 2 weeks ago, maybe a little bit more, your muskie season wrapped up.
Yep. Been busy, man. Busy season, 120 days on the water. So I'm happy to be done with the muskie and move on to a lot of fish and a lot of numbers.
Yeah, for sure. And I know, how was your muskie season? I know you got some really good fish, and it was kind of an interesting season. I mean, at least kind of in my part of the world, it seemed like it was a little bit wetter than it normally is.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's typical. You got to fish the seasons within the seasons and adapt to what you have. And I did it. Just years of doing it and know what to do when you get dealt those cards. So it was challenging at times, but it was all in all a great year. I enjoyed it. Got out with a lot of great people and super appreciative of those people that came out and fished with me. And we had a pretty special season all in all. So look forward to next year, but I'm happy to be over with the muskies and move on to, like I said, schooling fish and numbers. So it's one of those things, man. It's like driving the struggle bus is always a challenge, but I always enjoy it. But I'm never afraid to step up to get my butt kicked. So it was good. It was a good year.
Yeah, it's interesting you say numbers. That means you're probably not going to be doing a lot of pre-spawn smallmouth fishing because big fish, but not lots of fish.
Right. Yeah, I'll probably do about 2 weeks of that and then move on to striper. And that's what the plan is. I'll move on to Tennessee and do some stuff down there for a couple weeks and then start doing some traveling. But the muskie season, I had a great time. It was fun. I don't want to take away from that. It's special to be able to show people, the years that I put into it. And, and even though they're getting a lot of pressure, it's still such a special fishery just in my region, not specific rivers, but just all the places that we have to fish for.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you mentioned to me, I guess the last time we fished together for them, that they're actually getting so much pressure now it's changing their behavior.
Oh, it definitely has. And I see it in not just in their behavior, but how they also react to the flies that we're throwing at them. Not even that. I mean, live bait, artificials. It's a totally different fishery than it was, say, 5 years ago. Definitely different than it was 10 years ago. But we had a good year, man. I was still able to. And this is all on fly. I was still able to get 11 fish over 50. And that's pretty special when you can put people on that kind of a fish of a lifetime. That's how I like to call it, right in that 50-inch range.
Yeah, absolutely. And too, it's really cool because, you're going to be traveling around. We'll talk about that in a minute, but you're also working on some new rods and some new lines with TFO and SA too. Yep.
Can't specifically talk about the rods with TFO, but we do have some cool stuff coming out that I think a lot of people are going to enjoy on the fresh end, saltwater side of things. And as far as SA, me and Jinkies, that's how I like to call him. He's the kind of the fly line czar over at SA, and he does all the engineering for all the lines. And we've had some lines I've been playing with for past couple seasons with COVID and all that. And it's really made casting these large flies much easier. And it puts the flies in the right zones once they're in the water, which is even more important. But the other thing is having these what I call cider spots within the lines that allows the clients to be able to see where they are within the cast to make sure that they're loading the line and the rod properly to make the cast easier. And, having the head length, the proper size and the length correct and it just, there's a whole process you have to go through to make all these things right. And I play with a variety of different lengths of heads on lines and whatnot. And I've pretty much settled on it. And, then you have to kind of go through what types of cores that you want. And the cores of the lines make a huge difference on how they react in different temperatures of water and temperatures of air. So, then we have to decide on, is this, how we're going to make this work. And I'm looking forward to talking to them a little bit more about it. We've kind of had to put things aside just because, everything in the world has got put to a halt and you couldn't get anything. SA had a huge rush on lines on all sides of everything. And so they weren't able to come out with anything new. So for me, I'm looking forward to maybe here in the next year or so coming out with some lines that I've specifically kind of designed and that works for the things that I do. And hopefully we can make that happen sooner than later. I don't have any date on when that's going to be released, but we have been working on that for the past few years. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, it's pretty neat too. I mean, because I fished some of the lines, and I mean that transition, that color transition between the head and the running line is super duper helpful. And I think what SA's done to be able to give you kind of consistent density performance, so you don't get those hinges and those sinking lines, is pretty amazing too.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's everything. The big thing with most anglers, especially people I get on my boat, is they spend 95 to 98% of their lives working, doing other things, and they get a very limited time period where they can come fishing. And to make the experience easier by using lines that are going to be performing in a positive way, and you not have to figure out where that transition is everything. And I see it. And I've experienced this with all my clients over the past several years, like giving them standard lines that are already on the market and then giving these prototype lines that we've been working on, and just the sight lines on those lines and in the field is apparent how much easier it is for them. And I look forward for everybody to be able to see that in the future, and hopefully we can get those out. Like I said, we don't have a timeline yet, but I do feel like it's going to be something that will be available hopefully in the near future.
Yeah, very, very cool. And you mentioned you're going to start to travel around to kind of guide for some schooling fish. And, I know, like, for example, this weekend, you're going to be down in Brunswick, Georgia, teaching, doing time demonstrations and stuff. But I also know you're traveling to the West Coast later this year to work on some stuff with your friends at Loon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I signed up with Loon here the past, couple of months ago, and great company. When I had a fly shop back in, for 15 plus years, I sold Loon products. I loved what they stand behind, and fishing with a conscience, and trying to have environmental friendly products and stuff like that. And, I've used their materials and their UV lights and whatnot for years. And they asked me to come on board with them last year, and I thought it was a great opportunity, and I'm happy to be working with them. And it's kind of funny how California is like the swim bait capital of the world. That's where swim baits were developed, and the Game Changer platform isn't as popular out in the California area. It's in small pockets, and the guides and friends of mine that know it are fishing them. But we thought it'd be a great idea for me to get out there and kind of fish with some conventional guides, and me throwing Game Changers and them throwing the swim bait stuff, and just kind of see how we do. That way we can kind of connect the dots between the conventional side of things and the fly world, and try to kind of educate people so they kind of understand the disconnect that they're not quite understanding right now. And I'm excited to do that. And, everybody over at Loon has been great to work with. They have some amazing products, and some stuff I've been using this past winter with their pliers, and not just the big pliers for muskie, but some of the new pliers for just your normal leather holsters and whatnot. And like I said, they have so many great products I've used for all these years, like the UV knot sense and all that kind of stuff that makes a lot of difference when the line's going in and out of your guides, musky fishing, stuff like that. So they're a great company. They've been around for a while, and they got great people that I'm able to work with. Hogan Brown's a great guy that I've been talking back and forth with, and he's going to be picking me up. We're going to do a shop tour, a couple shops, I think, and then going to do some video stuff and some tying stuff as well. So it'll be kind of a whirlwind tour, about 5 days, and then heading back home. And I'm doing that in the end of June. So that's going to be a good time.
Yeah, that's cool. And I know you have to be super stoked to have another one of your fly designs out in the market. I know the changer crawls are relatively new. It seems like just yesterday you and I were working on live streaming those classes to folks to show them how to tie the fly.
Yeah, past couple years we did that all in past couple winters. Kind of navigating through the COVID era, right? And but yeah, I mean, that was one of the most popular classes we did, and so now I have them available on my site, and it's I'm looking forward to everybody being able to see what they're all about. I've caught so many different fish species on them. We've caught everything from redfish, speckled trout, sheep's head, caught stripers on them, a lot of freshwater fish, freshwater trout, smallmouth bass, largemouth bass, caught some pickerel and pike on them. And I firmly believe, and I haven't had time to do it, tie some bigger ones up, and probably catch a couple muskies on them. Pretty sure that's going to work well. But yeah, I'm really excited to have this standard size available because it's kind of a universal size for fresh and salt water. And I feel like people are going to be able to do a lot of different shoal bass down south, like in Georgia and whatnot. And like I said, redfish in Louisiana, Florida, Georgia, you name it. I've caught redfish in just about all the coastal states from Virginia to Louisiana on that fly. So it's been productive in all the states that people target redfish. So I think they're going to find that to be a staple in their quiver, I guess. And I've also caught bonefish on them. So I'm looking forward to getting out and using that fly to try to chase some permit down. I feel like it's going to be a good permit fly. I just might have to tweak it in color and size or whatnot. But it's just got all the major triggers that fish love. And that's what's important, so we can kind of adapt the fly to do different things. But right now we have it kind of dialed in. So the one you will be getting on my online store or local fly shops, I think it'll do a variety of fish species, and it'll be a very universal fly to be using all over the place.
Yeah, very neat. And they're tied on your new shank designs too, right?
Yep, they are. So that's a whole another thing that we could talk about is the new shanks, and completely redesign those to match and to make the tying process easier, but also make it fishing better. That maybe, we could talk about that on some other time.
Yeah, I guess the short version, we can talk about that on the next Chocklett Factory. But I guess, the short version is, it's kind of like back to the old school days where you were cutting shanks in your garage. And
exactly.
And you had your designs. And so, like, I remember when we were teaching the classes, it was like bending the shanks, right, for the tail. And, you don't have to do that anymore. So.
Exactly. Yep. It's always trying to make things better and easier than what they were when I started. I mean, that's kind of the goal, and, never going to come out with something that doesn't make sense. I mean, just something to come out with, it's always going to be fixing a problem. Like Popovic's always told me, it's like a great fly design or any kind of design always comes from trying to solve problems. And that's what I'm always trying to work on. And, these new shanks and the new flies that I've come out with are always about solving a problem that I've seen on the water. And that's, for me, makes the fishing experience better.
Yeah, it's all about getting off the struggle bus, right?
I'm always trying to get off and I'm sick and tired of driving it. So it's like,
well, we'll pull the cord and ring the bell. Maybe we can at least hop off on the shanks.
There you go.
And so also too, because the great thing is you've got this store now, so you've got your tying materials, you got flies, you got books, But one of the cool things I know you've been doing is you've got a pre-sale on some T-shirt designs. You want to let folks know about that too?
Yeah. So we got a couple T-shirts coming out, green and blue. It's got Change Your Game on the back with different size game changers, kind of like a Christmas tree look to it, a reverse Christmas tree. And I think it's kind of a cool design. And, Mike Williams designed that years ago, and he's been great for allowing me to use that. And I think it's just kind of a classic look to the fly. It's kind of the feather changer style. And we've used it on a variety of other things, but we have that whole Change Your Game thing logo on the back. And also I've been working with Corey Ruth at Ruth Handmade Leather Products, doing some Game Changers sheaths for pliers that we're going to be coming out with there soon. And I'm excited to be launching that for pre-sale stuff too. I love people that do art, and I love to see people that do stuff with their hands, and Corey's doing a really good job with that. And I thought it'd be a great kind of a niche product to kind of, everybody's got to have pliers for fishing, and why not have a really cool, badass sheath to go along with it. So going to be doing that and working with Blane and their new pliers that I've been testing for the past year that I really like, and kind of doing a combo with the pliers and the sheath. So you'll see more about that here soon.
Yeah, that's super cool. And I guess what folks do is they go to BlaneChocklett.com and then hit that shop link, and they can find all that good stuff, right?
Yep. There you go.
Yeah, 100%.
You can find it all there. Yeah, I've been working on that for a while, and, I'm looking forward to expanding it more. It just takes time.
Yeah, 100%. And, you folks, we love questions at the Articulate Fly, and we're going to probably, as we keep doing these, come up with a promotion to encourage people to send in questions. But if you have a question, DM me or DM Blane on social, or shoot us an email, and we'll try to work it into the next episode or two of the Chocklett Factory. And, Blane, before I let you hop, because I know you got to pack, you want to let folks know where they can find you on social media and all that kind of good stuff?
Sure. On Instagram, it's Blane Chocklett Fishing. Also on Facebook, it's the same. And then BlaneChocklett.com to go check out my shop. And you always can see all that stuff on my link in my bio on Instagram. And it's pretty cool. We got a lot going on, and I've got some cool stuff I'm working on, trying to get this online show called Changers of the Game. So look for that coming up in the next year or so, with a lot of great people that I've met over the years, and some really cool experiences that I've had with friends, and not just in the fishing world, but also in other genres, I should say, that I think people are going to really enjoy. And I've got some big plans, and hopefully we can get back to a normal world where we can get out and enjoy all these things. And I'm doing some trips here, different exotic destinations, and happy to share that soon too. So, if everybody enjoys this podcast that we're doing, or whatever, stay tuned, because we got some cool stuff coming.
Yeah, I'm excited to work on this with you. And folks, it's starting to warm up, and you owe it to yourself to get out there and catch a few. Tight lines, everybody. Tight lines, Blane.
Thanks, man.